this is the start of the journey today that we're taking. We're going to Penang. It's a very short hop from Langkawi to Penang. It's around about 15-20 minutes. Penang International. That was a good 15-minute flight, and I quite like those kind of flights. 15 minutes is just long enough.
So here we are at the War Museum and in Penang. Once known as Penang Fort, this mighty fortress was built in the 1930s by the British engineers, Royal British Engineers. This fortress is located at the southeastern part of Penang Island on top of Batau Mung Hill. The British built this fortress as a coastal defence to protect the island against the enemies coming from the Straits of Malacca. However, the Japanese Imperial Army has managed to capture the whole Malay during World War II. Penang Fort was turned into a prisoner of war camp during the Japanese occupation of 3 years and 8 months. Look at that, a kamikaze jacket was used by members of the Special Corps in the Japanese Air Force, charged with the suicidal mission in Malaya in the crashing of the British battleships, the Prince of Wales and Repulse in the South China Sea, 10th of December 1941. This apparently is the original path leading down to, or part of the fortress. But this is original, built by the British forces in the 1930s. Ammunition storage tunnel, 9 metres underground. These robust stone walls were designed to withstand enemy fire. As highly explosive ammunition was stored, soldiers were required to strip to their underclothes and change into special clothing and footwear before entering the store area. The ammunition hoists transferred shells to the 6-inch gun above. This down here, I don't know how clear it's coming out because it's pretty dark. The ammunition tunnels, and you see there, British steel with bolts. What the British troops made. It's actually tunnelled into the cliff face. So having climbed the 9 metres up the stairs, this is where the gun obviously once was. And I would imagine that that would be on like a turret turntable. And I guess in those days they were looking out over the Straits of Malacca, and the vegetation wouldn't be as dense as it is today. That's the gun firing bay, the bottom gun placement in the fortress. Previously housed a 6-inch breech loading gun originally installed by the British Army. With their maximum firing range of 15,700 metres, these 6-inch guns were used to fire at enemies approaching from the sea. By the 15th of December 1941, an order went out from General Arthur Percival, headquarters, Battle Box, Singapore, for soldiers to destroy all artilleries, ammunitions and weapons and tanks. What we're looking at there is the main route from Penang, the island, that takes you across. It's the road bridge, and I think there are 3 road bridges now, whereas 20 years ago there used to be 1. That takes you across to the mainland, disappeared into the distance over there. Today a little bit cloudy. This is cannon, a replica of a 6-inch breech loading gun originally installed here in 1941. So it's not an original, but it is a copy, a replica of the same gun. The fortress was constructed on 20 acres of land, complete with underground bunkers, loading bay, cannon firing bays, observation tower, sleeping quarters, cookhouses and medical infirmary. Since the day of the surrender of the Japanese, what was once the best kept secret fortress has turned into a hidden monument, as it was left abandoned and forgotten for almost 60 years. This is Georgetown, Penang, and this is basically the main centre, the main place in Penang, famous for its street art and Chinatown and the port, souvenirs. Everything about Georgetown is where we've been dropped off with the taxi is in the area where it's famous for its street art. When we came 20 years ago, street art didn't even exist, but now Georgetown's become famous for it. When they said it was famous for its street art, I thought it was art as in painting. That's actually like a fabrication, steel fabrication. Across here is one of the temples. I know in Georgetown there are many temples, and that we're going to have a look at that one, being one of them. This apparently is the Yap temple. Yap meaning no idea. I know some people can yap, but don't think that's related to a temple. I think that's just yapping. So here we are on a rickshaw ride, and you can see the street art. More street art, and hopefully as we get going down here we'll see a damn sight more, because there's an awful lot of it. What it represents, not quite sure. We're paying £1. No, we're not. We're paying £6 for a 1 hour rickshaw ride around the town of Georgetown. And I think this is probably the best way to see it, because at the moment I've got a clue where we're going. This area is definitely a Chinese influence. I would call this the Chinatown of Georgetown. Even the streets names are named in English and in Chinese. I don't feel exactly safe on the main road. We've made it, so we're going to go inside. Okay. We'll follow you. So this is part of one of the jetties. Dropped us off. We'll have 5 minutes walk around here, and this is where the Chinese live on these jetties. They've all got different names and different plans, and obviously another temple we've come to just here. Firefighters do, pretty much, and but it's an area that's nicely paved and it's got the Chinese lanterns. Bear in mind we're only a week on from Chinese New Year, or 2 weeks actually, 2 weeks on Saturday, today being Wednesday. So I guess a lot of the lanterns are here permanently, but some of them must be extra ones for Chinese New Year. So these are the jetties that we've just had a quick walk down. What we're going to do now is carry on with the rickshaw, and if need be, now we know where they are and how to get there, we'll come back and have a proper look at them. You know, one thing they really ought to do around here, they ought to make the streets pedestrian only. There's too much traffic in the city, in Georgetown. Although there's not as much traffic as there is outside of Georgetown when you're travelling around Penang. I don't remember it 20 years ago being as busy as it is. It's extremely busy on the roads. We've got about a 12-kilometre journey back to our hotel, and that can take over an hour. It's the roads are almost gridlocked. This area that we're in now is Little India, and I vaguely remember some of this, but it's obviously where the name gives it away, where the Indians are, and the textile part of it, where you can get suits and clothes and things like that made. Bird's eye just went past here, and some of these places, you know, when they've got a lick of paint like that one, they look quite nice, really nice. And then you get the ones like this that are quite run down, and I don't know, they've still got character, but they certainly look better when they've had a bit of a paint job. Some of the modern day buildings, the Oriental Hotel, and they've got a Chinese cuisine museum. I've seen that on YouTube, and that looks about as interesting as toothache. So I think we'll give that a miss, because all it just shows you is plastic dishes of Chinese food. Well, I'd rather see the real thing in the Chinese restaurant. Far more interesting to me. Yeah, definitely a Little India. Big Indian trading influence around here. Silk market, silk clothes, silk shirts. It's a bit of a cobblestone street, but guess these lanterns are not just for Chinese New Year. They'll be there all year round, and I bet it's quite pretty. It's going to be very pretty, isn't it, when it lights up at night. And this is a temple on the right that I've seen on many a YouTube channel. So we'll try and find our way back to here at some point and have a proper look at that temple. And obviously we're going to turn right here because we're following the rickshaw in front of us. If we don't get run over and killed in the process. The Yap Temple, where we started. Very good, most enjoyable. This is what I've been looking for. Eventually we found it, and it was the home of a very wealthy Chinese businessman, trader, and as I said earlier, the Penang Georgetown is the main port. It was for the spice run, spices from China shipped through here. And this man, we'll go inside in a moment, his family became one of the richest in the area. This was the mansion that they built, now museum.
129 years ago, and the first owner of this mansion belongs to a gentleman from China. We call him Captain Chong Keng Hui, and the title captain was honored to him by the British government. He's not the captain of the ship, the plane, or the army, but someone who was in charge of the Chinese community during that time. And who was this gentleman? He was a gangster leader. Because with respect to history, Malaya, those were the days there was a civil war. Two groups were fighting. The Gi-Hin and the Hai-San, a very big group. And why are they fighting? Because of tin mining. They want to control the tin mine business. Depending on it, the geometric tiles from England, 1895, 129 years ago, today they're still down here. These are original tiles. And the beautiful iron structure, it came from Scotland. We can take a Scotland. It came from Scotland. It came from our grandfather, grandmother's time, no family planning. They got many children. Anything more than 10, you're a hero. Today we got more than 10, we got headache. Times are totally different. That's why they go for the long table to have a longer family relationship. And no electricity during that time. They don't even have tap water. They use well water. And no electricity, but they got live CCTV camera. There's the hidden camera. See the entrance where you walk inside just now. Okay, yeah. On the left, you can see staircase, anyone going up and down. And right in front, the main entrance, so it's in and out. So just now you walk inside, there is the side entrance. Those were the days are meant for the servants. So you see, this is a family temple we call Ancestral Hall. And it was built in 1899. 4 years later, after they built the mansion, they built this ancestral hall. And today, the grandchildren, they sold the mansion to my boss in year 2000, but they don't sell the ancestor. This is of the first owner of this mansion. Capitan China, Captain Chong Keng Kui. And this statue was presented in remembrance of him by the British government. Because those were the days he tagged along with the British. Anything that can diamond. And you look at the jewelries around the neck. I think when she walked at that hunchback. Good and
sat at the beach having a beer. Oh, we're going to have a beer in a minute because before we have a meal. But just summing up the day today in Georgetown was not really what we were expecting. It was 20 years ago since we were there before. But the street art that we're really looking forward to seeing, very disappointing, really disappointing. And Georgetown is renowned for its street food, and I never saw any of it. So, but I think, in fairness, the street food probably starts maybe around about this time of the evenings, 5:30, 6 o'clock. And but we left around about 5 o'clock. Never saw any of the street food whatsoever. So all in all, Georgetown has been a little bit of a disappointment. The weather was fine. Seeing the temples was great, and the rickshaw ride around the town was good. But give me Langkawi any day of the week. This is Penang Hill. This is Thursday morning. Well, actually it's midday, and we've come out to Penang Hill. This is a place that was camera's probably not doing it any justice whatsoever. The height that we're at and the distance that we can see from here, and it's a relatively clear day. You can see out to the mainland. The Penang Bridge out in front of us over there, and it's taken about, I don't know, 10 minutes to get from the bottom to the top, and this is the view that we get from when we're up here. This is basically telling you the history of the track, built in 1923. And it was built by the British soldiers, as far as I remember. Penang Hill Railway was officially launched by the governor of the Straits Settlement, Sir Lawrence Nuns Gillimard, on the January the 1st, 1924. So it's 100 years old, and it's showing you the second generation, 1977 to 2010, and now third generation, 2011 until present day. And how they've changed the trains over the years. Here we are at the top, looking down on, I guess, down onto Georgetown, and we're at, according to my watch, 756 metres above sea level at this point. But again, I doubt that the camera's doing this any justice whatsoever, because we can see across to the mainland. They've actually built another bridge further down to the south of here that's actually linking Penang to the mainland, 24 kilometres in length. What we can see from here, again, camera probably not doing it justice, but they're out there in front of the bay and the marina down there, and looks like they're reclaiming land from the sea. I know there's a lot of, since we were here 20 years ago, it's unbelievable how this island has built up. And we here 20 years ago, people were living in mud huts. And now it's just high-rise and luxury high-rise apartments all over the city. It's today is a shame because there's a little bit of heat haze out there. But, the temperatures way up in the 30s again, much higher than what they should be for this time of year. This, as we've climbed to the top, another temple. Guess what? Another temple. How many temples do they need? This Penang Hill was used by the British soldiers. The funicular built in 1923 because it was apparently cooler up here for the British officers to get up to the top and feel a little cooler. Well, it might have been a bit cooler in 1923, but it's not cooler in 2024, because today it's very hot. So that concludes our trip to Penang Hill, and next up is the Gurney Plaza, and can't believe, I hope it's come out on the camera and showing you clearly how steep that was coming back down the hill. That used to be a 2-stop. We used to go up a proper funicular, 1 stop then 2 stops to the top, halfway up, and then Mr. Security comes to visit me. And then you change carriages, but now it goes from bottom right to the top all in one go. So here we are today at Utopia, which is a butterfly farm, about 10 minutes drive from the hotel, and they've got all kinds of creatures in here as well as butterflies. I've just seen a few snakes, little very large spiders, and presume that they're local to Malaysia, or common to Malaysia. It's a really good setup in here. I've never seen so many butterflies. But that's, I suppose, on a butterfly farm. These are all in netting. So they're not, well, they're as free. They can fly as far as the netting and the support goes. Here is the green iguana, and he's there underneath his heat lamp. Why would need a heat lamp when its temperature outside is in the 30s? I'm not quite sure. This tells me that around the corner is a photo opportunity. And listening to the sound of falling water, I guess that opportunity is going to be right here in front of the waterfall.